Clash of Clans podcast, OG, episode 8. And welcome back to the podcast. I am Scotty827 here with my co-host and partner in crime, TipDog20. What is happening?
What crime are we committing this week?
Oh, well, I can tell you one crime that's being committed this week, and it's your fault too.
My fault?
Yeah.
What crime is that? Did we rob a bank?
I've got like a 50K DE a week problem. I need a fix with those super troops.
I know somebody.
And
I know somebody who can get it for you. Cheap.
It's becoming a problem.
Yeah, so I don't use the only super troop that I actually use. So there are really two.
Yeah, because you know the dangers of it. See?
Yes, 100%.
You just pass the sauce over. He said, "Here, just take a little bit."
And it's so frustrating, isn't it?
Yeah, but they are pretty fun though.
They're a lot of fun, and I understand why Supercell limited it to only 2 super troops being able to be used. But man, it sucks sometimes whenever I want to use super witches and I want sneaky goblins to help funnel and I want super wall breakers, and you can only pick 2, and it just sucks sometimes.
Oh yeah.
Although in your
thank
case,
God though.
I mean, but in your case, that's kind of a blessing, right? Because how much dark elixir would you spend if you could boost more than 2?
and here's where they get me. I go to train the previous trained army because I'm always like trying to mix it up and trying to figure out what is, just vary it, right? Like, okay, let me put in this, see if I can do this. And so I start with the last brood army or quick train, and I start it and it says,
yep,
super troop missing.
Yep, not available.
And I go, oh, what am I going to do? And I should just do it. And then I do it. And I think Tip Dog would tell me to do it. He would tell me to just buy
it. So the only super troop that I buy on a regular basis is the sneaky goblin. Like that's the only one that I buy. Every now and again, I'll buy super wall breakers, but that I try to get around that as much as I can. So if I have to have a super wall breaker for a war attack, then I will boost them. But man, I look for every way to enter a base without having to boost them if I can.
That dark elixir is not going to spend itself. Tip Dog tells me. He said, "You better lay it down. Just spend it. You can't take it with you." He says.
Did you have fun using super dragons last week?
Yeah, I did actually a lot, and I really don't mind it because, like I was saying before, it did feel like there was a lot of DE. I take that back, Supercell. I take that back. You can show me the other bases again.
Well, so I just got to Town Hall 14, and holy cow, the DE requirements are massive. So I've been able to keep all 4 of my heroes down on my strategic rush base, but I have not had enough dark elixir to put into any of my pets. Like that's how intense the dark elixir requirements are at Town Hall 14. So just wait until you hit that button and you go to Town Hall 14, and then you'll see.
I should have never said that. I should have never ever said that. I shouldn't have. And they were probably sitting there at Supercell going, yeah, okay. Well,
just
let me put him. Let's mark him in a different category of base hitting. Then I suppose it's not at the beginning. It's not at the start of the month yet when it's really flowing.
You're only going to get bases that are like 2K of DE, and that's it. They're like, oh, you're an OG. Fine, we'll put you back in the days of OG when 2K was good.
Yeah, I did wonder, to be honest with you. And so I also want to say a habit that maybe you should be arrested for as well. Actually, no. I watched your videos today. And you had sent me one on the Super Bowler a while ago too, and I dialed into that, and I thought, I have been doing it all wrong.
And so the problem with that video is it's about 2 years old. So base design has improved a lot since then. That was back when Town Hall 14 was max. So there are still bases where you can hit it the way that I presented in that video, but now you have to be a lot more creative in tanking for the flame flinger because mortars and expos can outrange it and destroy it really quickly.
And so
So you
you're
just have to be
talking
careful.
about, he's talking about where you drop on the corner and you're
Mm-hmm.
kind of waiting with the flame flinger and you're dropping the ward on the other side with 5 healers and then
Mm-hmm.
doing a super troop. Um, what I noticed in those videos, so first of all, you crushed me because I thought, oh man, I got a long way to go. And and I thought, wow, this is, but then it inspired me. And what I was noticing on your attacks, what right away, number one, that I'm doing wrong, and I want to talk about is but in a minute, is I'm not using the funnel time at all. I'm
Yep.
like dropping everything, have to run, change my pants quick, come back, catch
Go
up with
pee.
everything. Yeah, come and just, I'm blind panicking. And the other thing I noticed before I forget it, because I forgot to put it on my list, was that in those videos of the Super Bowler attack, and you were mentioning a couple different things, and I watched some of the, um, I think I watched another video too, but I think it was from the past,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like it played out of order. The problems that you identified in the video about like the Super Bowler were, it's kind of interesting. It's addressed with that overgrowth spell
Go.
because you kept saying over and over, the problem I have here is that if your bowlers get it, there's no way to change. You got to watch, this part, because if they get in and they break through over here, their pathing changes.
Yep.
Or if they, you really have to be careful with the RC on the outside because, and it was just a couple things like that through that video and the other one too that I thought, wow, that overgrowth kind of addressed exactly the problem that you were talking about.
Which brings up the question, is the overgrowth spell a little too OP? I mean, so you watched my Root Rider video that I put out today,
Yeah.
and so it's not completely foolproof. So recently, I've run across some bases where that attack does not work, and base builders are starting to make adjustments to
So you,
where it can defend against that.
so
But still,
describe the
that
attack.
so with the overgrowth spell, you're putting in 1 or 2 root riders on one corner, very similar to Super Bowlers. So instead of the Grand Warden, you're just putting in a root rider or two. You're following that up with a couple Valks, 2 or 3 Valks. You're doing the same on the other corner, like you would do with a Flame Flinger. Or sometimes in those attacks, if it's a Flame Flinger corner where I can get 3 or 4 defenses, and I'll just put a Flame Flinger down and let it do some work and then use a couple root riders on the other corner. And then you send your root riders up the middle, very similar to how you send your Super Bowlers in with the rest of your Valks and your heroes and Warden and everything. And then once you approach the area around the town hall, which is typically populated with a lot of high HP defenses like Inferno Towers and Scatter Shots, the Monolith, well, then you overgrowth it. And that gives the Root Riders time to work on all the little defenses that are around outside the overgrowth spell. They get all of those down. And then by the time that they're able to get all those defenses down,
Where
then
the
they
hell did
can
it
all
go?
collapse on the town hall.
Where the hell did it go? All right, well, let's take these bastards out first.
Yeah,
There it is.
but it works amazingly well, which makes you wonder, is the overgrowth spell a little too OP? Like, do they need to nerf it at all? Do you think so?
Well, I just honestly was jealous that you had Root Riders
Mm-mm.
in that moment. I don't know.
Does it
Maybe
make
it's
you want to
not.
go to Town Hall 15?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
The Dune Worms. Uh, well, here's my thought. I was watching that attack, right? And you were talking about getting into the core with the Root Riders. And I think that attack could be done with a lot of different things
Mm-hmm.
too. You know,
Super bowlers.
super bowlers, yeah, look just like a kind of super bowler. Because I was watching them, right at the same time. But in the attack that you were talking about, that is just straight from the video, you were talking about bringing like a freeze or just for whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I have been using, because I think this passed through on a video when I was trying to get some things uploaded. I started bringing in a invisibility spell for that moment right when they're in the core and they've
Yeah.
taken it out
Yep.
instead
That's
of the
used a lot.
freeze.
Yep.
And so I thought in that attack, I think that may be even more powerful with invisibility right when they pop off that overgrowth.
The invisibility spell is used a lot with super bowlers at Town Hall 16, mainly because typically there are only 3 or 4 super bowlers. And the reason it's harder to use with root riders is because typically you have 10 root riders, and those root riders are so spread out that if you put the invisibility spell over some of the root riders, well, that leaves the other root riders that don't fit under the invisibility spell still exposed. And so
Oh,
if the monolith is hitting, one group of root riders and you invis them, well, then there's another group that's out that can't fit underneath, because that invisibility spell is kind of tiny. They're like, oh, we want underneath this invisibility spell. Let us in, let us in. And the monolith goes, no, I'm going to kill you. Bam, 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 bam. So it's
oh,
not a bad idea. Like
but
it's used a lot with super bowlers, but not as much with root riders.
so the invisibility spell only houses certain number of troops.
So it only covers a certain number of tiles.
Oh, okay.
So if your root riders are bunched together, then
Oh, I see what
then
you're
that
saying
works
now.
out really well. But typically they're kind of spread out a little bit. And let's say you have 2 of them die pretty quickly. You have 8 left. Well,
Uh,
those 8 are spread across maybe 10 tiles, attacking different defenses. And
uh,
so one invisibility spell just isn't going to cover all of them.
oh, okay. Okay. I was like, well, shit, I should have read the fine print again. I don't
Yeah,
know
but
if
it is
I
a good
was.
idea. It's not a bad idea, and that's a skill thing. Like if you can get it to work where you can keep all of your root riders together, then the benefit that an invisibility spell offers over a free spell is a free spell will only freeze defenses within like a 5 tile area, but the invisibility spell will cover up all of your troops. So let's say that you're surrounded by defenses that you would have to spend 3 freezes to stop them all. Well, with one invisibility spell, you're essentially able to stop all of the defenses that are surrounding them just because there's nothing for them to shoot at in that case.
Yeah.
So it is
Well,
better.
I've also been like just using it to drop right on the queen right before I'm gonna pop her ability
Mm-hmm.
and then pop her out with the teleport right when that wears off. So so it's kind of like a double backup because my hand's already going to that thing, so I'm dropping it.
So the invisibility spell is used a lot with the RC. And the reason is because if your RC gets in and is surrounded by defenses, again, you're going to have to drop multiple freezes to stop all of those defenses from hitting your RC. Well, all you have to do is invisor, and all of those defenses stop shooting at her. And you don't have to freeze, all of these clusters of defenses, giving her more life and more health. And of course, you have the invisibility fox. I can't believe my brain's not working tonight. You have the spirit fox. Holy cow, invisibility
Spirit
fox, spirit fox. You have spirit
No,
fox
that's
on
what
her. She goes invisible anyway.
Ghost Fox.
The great Firefox, the Firefox.
Firefox.
Oh wait, no. So but it makes her invisible anyway, which is very much like an invisibility spell. Same idea. But yeah.
So is it well, what I kind of wonder when you say is it OP, and there's usually something that has to be OP, and then something comes to fix it, right?
Yeah. So a lot of this, whether or not a troop is OP, whether or not a spell is OP, a lot of it has to do with the fact that base builders are building bases a specific way, and then they have to make an adjustment. So, for example, whenever the Flame Flinger was introduced, nobody was putting their Expos and their mortars. The mortars was the worst defense in the game. Everybody hated mortars. It was the butt of every joke in Clash of Clans. But then the Flame Flinger was introduced, and all of a
Oh,
sudden, the mortar now has purpose.
yeah.
Like a mortar, if a Flame Flinger takes 2 shots from a mortar, it's almost dead. So you
Well, I should
really
have put
have
my
to consider
mortars in.
mortars. So base builders had to build differently. But another perfect example is whenever super wizards were introduced into the game. I think it was Town Hall 13 towards the end. A lot of these bases were being built not to withstand a blizzard blimp, which is when you send a blimp in and you drop the wizards and viz them typically 4 times with a rage spell, and they just take out a huge cluster of defenses. I've done that a couple times in some of my attacks. And so, everybody was saying, oh, super wizards are OP, super wizards are OP, you got to nerf them. And eventually Supercell did nerf them, but also base builders had to adjust the way that bases were set up so that Blizzard blimps weren't so enticing and so easy to take out so much of the base.
Maybe the word for it is disruptive. You know what I mean? Instead of OP, is
Yeah,
it
that's probably a good
too?
word.
I mean, now that I'm thinking the way that you're talking about it, if for something to change a base, is it disruptive to base building? And
I
maybe
think
that's like a
also
new. But
a new term.
do you think like those end up becoming benchmarks for the next thing?
What do you mean by that?
Well, if you okay, so I'm just kind of working through as you're saying it. Like if you think back to the things that were OP
Mm-hmm.
or the things that at the time was like, okay, this is just too much. Did it in the end become something that was really good?
So the two troops that I can think of, I'm sure there's more, but just the two troops that come to mind that Supercell has actually nerfed in the past few years. Number one is Super Wizards. If I remember right, they used to chain 3 buildings and now they only chain 2 buildings, I think. So they did eventually nerf Super Wizards specifically because of the Blizzard. And then the second thing that they nerfed, surprisingly, because we just used them in the most recent event, was Super Dragons. Because Super Dragons were a lot like Root Riders, to where people were
Just burning.
literally just spamming Super Dragons, putting free spells and Skelly spells down in specific spots, and were 3-starring bases left and right with Super Dragons. And so eventually, after a period of I would say it was a good 3-4 months that they left them as they were, Supercell did decide to nerf it. But something I was going to say is something Supercell has to consider is the casual player. So I'm not 3-starring every single attack that I
Yeah,
do,
me either.
and it feels good to 3-star. Like I had a couple days where I did really well in Legend League, and me
Yeah,
doing really well in Legend League for
you were strutting.
just an average player like me, like that felt really good. And if you can get the casual player
You could hear
who's
music in the background while you walked.
exactly, there's a light
You
that
can
comes
tell
out
by
of the
the way.
sky and it's like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm a Clash
Ah.
god. So
Here, let me
Supercell,
get that door for you.
here's the red carpet.
Yeah.
But
Well,
so they
thank
have
you.
to think of the player who doesn't practice 8 hours a day doing FCs in the clan and wants to get a triple every now and again. So I think they have to watch the overall triple rate. And as long as it's not like, I would say, as long as it doesn't go over 40%, then I would say it's a pretty hard sell to say that you need to nerf a troop, just because that means that 60% of attacks are still failing and only 40%
Well,
are
I will help
succeeding.
keep that number strong for you.
You're so I feel best when I can 3-star a base about 30% of the time. So, and I don't know how that would relate to like the overall number of player attacks in the game. So if I'm at 30%, let's say that I'm just a tad bit above average. So does that mean that the overall 3% rate is at 26%, And is that too low? Like for the overall percentage to come up to 30%, would that mean that my attacks would be 33% triple rate? So I don't know. And I don't know what Supercell's thinking on that is, but I do know that they have to consider the overall player base when the really good players are like, oh man, I 3-star every single time with my Root Riders. And it does happen. But what is the average player doing?
Unless because we are in the Humble Bumblebee tournament of champions.
The Rumble Bumble, Rumble Mumble, the Rumble something event where if we destroy 450 million town halls, we get
destruction,
500 glowy ore and 100.
Oh,
I'm sorry, 500 shiny ore and 100 glowy ore.
Sunday. Well, well, if you did have, we're just right back into it. So, okay, hypothetically, if I'm a master planner at Supercell, I introduce the Overgrowth and I go, hey, this might be a little OP. That's all right. We've got this Rumble coming up. Let's just let them smash for a weekend. Then we drop the update that has a little bit of a counter to the Overgrowth. And everybody's happy.
So something else to consider is not all of the defenses are max at Town Hall 16. So I think.
Oh,
I don't think I'm wrong on that.
So maybe a level, if they added a level to defenses, that maybe that would
be enough to balance it, to push it back a little bit.
Where you still get the benefit and you can still use it at certain town hall levels, but at the more advanced levels, it's not going to cut it.
Right. So if, so for instance, Inferno Towers just got a level 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, whenever the last update came out.
Yeah. One more thing to do.
Yeah, exactly. and surprisingly, like I am close to max. Like I have, I think, storages to do and some traps, but pretty much all of my defenses are max on my Town Hall 16. I was number 10 on the map. Like that's unheard of. I haven't been that high in a long time, which so that was very surprising. But so assumably, if they go up one more level on defenses, well then that will take care of the balancing aspect for Root Riders, because sometimes it's just a slight domino effect.
Yeah.
Where if Archer Towers get 5 more points of damage per second, well then that 5 damage per second will take down a Root Rider just before it's destroyed, and then it can start working on another Root Rider, and then that Root Rider is even lower when it goes to the next defense. So it's kind of this domino effect. So I mean, even the smallest changes can affect the balance of a meta. So I don't know.
Rumble is in effect. So it's perfect. It's like that makes perfect sense. Like why it would. Just my thoughts, anyways.
All that I think of whenever you say the Rumble Mumble or whatever event it is Paw Patrol. So I don't know if you my son used to watch Paw Patrol all the time when he was little, and they have a character on there, a little dog. His name was Rubble. He said, "Rubble on the double."
They should have crossed
every time I hear
with
that.
Those guys.
That's what I think of. Maybe they like somebody at Supercell likes Paw Patrol, and that's the reason they chose that name. Who knows?
I did think when I saw that, I thought I think it was the first day, right, of the Bumble or the Rumble event. And I'm seriously not mispronouncing it. Just does not stick in my head right.
I just can't remember the name of it. Something Rumble Mumble.
And Mumble. And I thought, I looked and it was a 10th of the way, a quarter of the way.
Yep.
And I wondered, I thought right in that minute, I think it was only through Sunday. oh, that would be really embarrassing if we didn't hit like two, at least tier two of the stuff. Was like, oh shit, nobody showed up.
Yeah,
But
I don't know that the community's super excited about it because it's not personal. Okay, woo! Like one more town hall down. Yay, we're at 300 and or 449,999,000. Go team! I
yeah,
don't know.
yeah, it would be cool if like it unlocked like once. That'd be kind of a cool benefit to unlock town hall achievements where you
Or
are part of event, you got an add-on to a town hall to like your main, instead of like a gig on Inferno, you could equip it with like
even
ice
even if
beam or like
if it just changed the color of the Inferno or something. Like we reached this. So okay, so let's be honest. I'm very thankful for the ore that they're giving us, but 500 shiny ore and 100 glory ore is not that much. So don't.
but it will be 4 days of star bonus
I think
time
it's
multipliers.
oh right, that too. But I mean, I get plenty of loot anyway. But you know what would have been cool? What would have been really cool, rather than giving us a pitiful amount of ore, is to do something in game. So two things come to mind.
Oh,
One thing is they've been giving us a lot of statues recently, which is a bit annoying, but they could have given us a special rubble on the double statue. I was part of Clash of Clans when they reached
you wanted to be
450
annoyed.
million. Do what?
You wanted to be annoyed.
Well, yeah, yeah. I mean, it would have been cool to have a statue or something like if we reach 450 million town halls, we're going to change the color of the town hall beam from orange to pink. And then for a 2 week
See,
period, all the town hall inferno beams will be pink rather than orange. And as a collective group of Clash of Clans players, we can be like, yeah, we did that. Look at those pink beams coming out of the town hall,
and
and that wouldn't
and
cost anything other than a little bit of coding.
and Supercell, if you would like to hire us for ideas, we are
Yeah.
here. Because that's a genius idea. Here, even so, I was just kind of thinking a little bit bigger, right? But what if even for participating in certain events, Supercell, get your pens, get your pencils, uh, take this down, you could collect beam colors. So
That
that
would be
way,
cool.
even at like very small levels, you could get things that could maybe just customize your house or like, yeah, that color. Then maybe you could equip it on your Inferno towers
That
or
would be awesome.
some little giveaways that enhance, but didn't, just cosmetic, but were more than statues are cool, but after where are we going to put them after a while,
I
right?
have like 40 statues right now. It's oh my gosh, it's
We're
crazy.
gonna have to have old base for them, and they're really cool. Like I like the
And they
Daily
are cool.
Planet
Yeah,
one
I
I
like
just got.
statues.
There's that Daily Planet one. It's really neat. There's that globe. I just
Mm-hmm.
keep thinking it's like the Daily Planet.
Clark Kent.
Uh, but I was thinking, customize like a change it from a Inferno to a Tesla or like an Eagle or a Wizard or I mean, I was thinking a little bit bigger, but even being able to change beam colors. And I really think we need to be able to customize the aesthetics a little bit more.
Yeah, and I 100% agree with that. Now, granted, the argument might be, well, if the beam is pink, well, then that might confuse the attacker and make them mess up their attack.
Good.
And that could be the case.
So you got a benefit. You got a benefit for participating that you can't really buy, or you can only earn those things through participation. And then
or
when people go, oh, that's cool, I want one of those. Well, you got to do it by getting into things that these are just little add-ons you get to
events,
pick.
activities, yeah. Or for instance, you could get characters on the side of your town hall. So this definitely would not mess up an attack. So right now on the top of the town hall, there's the Roman numerals for 16, I think, if I'm thinking right. Anyway, there's a space for where you can put stuff. So rather than the Roman numerals, well, hey, if you complete this event, we're going to give you an eagle, or we're
Mm,
going to give you a griffin.
Yeah.
and you can plaster that griffin on the side of your town hall.
And the
That
griffin's
shows that
eyes glow
or
and the
that too.
beams fire out of that.
That would be super cool.
Yeah, imagine
Like,
if you could just take those statues that we already have and you could place them on there. And like the globe one, for example, like you'd put it on there and the beam would come
on
through all
top of
those
it.
cracks
Yeah,
that are in
100%.
there and fire it up.
I mean, I
Take
realize that would take a little more like space, hard drive space for
well, we should
Supercell.
just take a second here and pause so that way Supercell can rewind this
Mm.
and take it down. You got that Supercell? Okay,
Okay.
got it. Okay. Because that's a really good idea. If I may say it so myself.
Or even something like, so right now the archers on the archer towers are wearing what, green outfits,
Oh,
and they have pink hair.
that's
Well, why
great.
not let us dress up the archers on the archer towers in different color outfits?
Yeah.
So, and that's not going to affect attacking at all because they're teeny tiny. Like, they're not going to affect an attack. So get your blue archer outfit by
Yeah.
completing this event, or
So you
whatever,
could do
stuff
it for
like
your
that.
clan colors.
Or you could change your clan castle color too.
Yeah. Well, and here's why. Okay. Because this is on my actual list of things to talk about for today. Some of my upgrades might be aesthetic. Like there's certain walls I don't think I'm upgrading. They're too ugly.
Yeah.
Like I'm sticking, I think it just I'm finishing up the electric one and it goes to it's like kind of black or dark gray.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going there and I'm not doing anything after that until like Town Hall 16 walls because I don't like the look of any of them.
Yeah, I'm not that crazy about Town Hall 14 walls. It's like gold with green in the middle,
Yeah.
which I understand that that's the Town Hall's color scheme, but I'm just like, yeah, no, okay, we could have picked a better color, I think, rather than
Some of those color schemes are going to make me rush. I'm telling you. Like I just
that. It just takes so long to do. The coolest
jump
walls.
right past it. It's like, listen, this is not my color. I'm not wearing this. No, no, I'm not having company over in this.
And I
But with
think
these cannons and
cosmetics are way more important to players than Supercell thinks.
yeah, you want to have a cool base. And I think you said it, Maximus said it. Wouldn't it be cool to have a really futuristic Town Hall 17? Is that what you said that was
Yeah.
coming?
Well, and also if you could also make, okay, your war base is boring. Your war base, there's no
Yeah,
there's
customized.
no customization on your war base. You can't change the archer color. You can't put a griffin on the side of your town hall on your war base or like your CWL base, but on your home village that people are literally just farming. Well, that base you can customize. And they've done that for the clan capital. Like, they have those little houses,
Yeah.
with the tile roofs and the tiles on the ground and the shovel or the hammer. Like, they do that for the clan capital. But let's be honest, like people care so much more about their home village than they do the clan capital.
Yeah. And here's what I would say. I think we're missing out on that war based scenery. Because I was looking through that this week and there is slots for it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But here's where I think we're missing on it. Now that you say that, it sounds like I put a lot of thought into this before,
Yeah.
but think of like Gladiator, right? In these epic arenas where it's like intimidation and all this. And so if you had as your war base this like freaky tiki, or just epic, scary kind of looking base, it would just give it more, uh, you know, what am
Yeah,
I trying to say?
they do have the Inferno war base scenery. I don't know if you've seen that or
No, I
not, but
didn't.
so how it was the same for forever, ever since Clan Wars was introduced. Everybody just has the same
Yeah.
map for the war base. Well, a few years ago, they introduced the Inferno war base scenery. I think it was $9.99. I didn't buy it just because I never look at my own war base. Like,
Oh,
and I don't care if the person who's attacking my war base thinks it's cool because that's my enemy. I mean, I don't want him to be like, oh, that's a cool base, because I don't
yeah,
care about my enemy. I want my enemy to be destroyed by my archer towers.
right.
So I didn't buy it, but it is available, I think, in the
I'll have
gym
to look
shop.
for it.
It is pretty cool,
But
but
you know what I'm
it's just
saying?
not
Like you
something that I
come in
wanted.
and it's like this, whatever it is, you could pick and choose instead of this, magical scenery. It is like gothic
Hmm.
dungeon war scenery. Um, I'm thinking like you could even do like the Colosseum type
Yeah,
where it just looks like it's like all the clashers and or there's goblins watching or make it more of like a war stage arena with with fans. You know what I'm
it,
saying? Like,
it would definitely be cool. Yeah, I agree. Or what would be cool? This would be awesome. Is if whenever you're doing your attack, especially when you're doing your war attacks, I don't necessarily like this. In fact, I kind of despise it just a little bit. But if while you're doing your attack, if someone decides to watch you do your attack, you have this creepy little eye
oh
that pops
yeah.
up in the top left side of the base. How about, rather than the creepy little eye, we have like a stand section, and if somebody comes to watch my attack, well, they can choose what character they want to come in to watch it as. Let's say they want to be the
Yeah.
wizard. And you see this wizard, although
Showed
I
up.
mean, it could be distracting, but you see this wizard kind of walk down the stands and then take their seat and
Yeah,
watch your attack. That would be a lot cooler to see a wizard in the crowd rather
that'd
than
be
this
cool.
creepy little eye up
Yeah,
in
that
the
thing
top
shows
left hand
up and
corner.
I go, there goes my attack.
I
There
hate
goes.
it. I hate it.
There it
Uh,
goes.
Especially with my Legend League attacks. Like, I'm sitting there, because sometimes my Legend League attacks sometimes they're awesome. They go great. And I see that eye up in the left hand corner. I'm like, suck it, nerd. And then there are other times when it goes so bad. And I'm like, okay, get all my spells
Oh,
out and then
I,
just force close the app and come back right on my home
like
base.
I'm just gonna I'll see you later. I'm just gonna
Yeah,
leave here
exactly.
all this story. And
Yeah.
you just go, they're just probably watching, thinking,
Mm-hmm.
uh that was kind of like my 15% war attack.
Yeah.
Oh, that was I've had a rough war week, to be honest. I think I need a new iPad.
Did
Something's
you crack it? Crack the
no,
screen?
no. I swear to God, they're not dropping. Shit's not dropping on me. And I cleaned it, still was doing something, but it just feels like, and I don't know if it is me, but I feel like there's something a little bit wrong with like I swore in those moments. I'm like, I'm clicking this.
So
And
if
I
I
say that
remember
out
right,
loud too.
that's that specific attack. So let's be clear, you're a Town Hall 13. You're going to be going to 14 soon, but you were attacking, I would say, a midway Town Hall 16.
Yeah, but
Am
I
I right
had
on
it.
that?
Yeah, but I had it.
But
I
that's tough, man. I
I
like, don't get down on
I'm just
yourself.
kidding. No, I'm just
It,
kidding.
you're
I'm not. I was not going for the three on that base. It was I had it. You were like, oh yeah, let me just let you keep dreaming there. Uh
it's happened. I don't know at Town Hall 13. I've seen a
yeah.
Town Hall 14 3-star Town Hall 16 before.
Oh really?
It's not me. I've never done it. I have 3-starred, and granted, the base has to be set up bad. If the base is set up bad, then I can 3-star base that's one higher. So, like, I have 3-starred max Town Hall 14s with my
Oh
Town Hall
nice.
13 before. And, I've even 3-starred Town Hall 14s with the Town Hall 12 before. But again, if it's a good base, there's no chance. Like, I'm not going to 3-star a Town Hall 14. I'm not skilled enough. But if the base is bad, but I have
I can
seen
I can
really good attackers do it.
I can solid 3-star and 11.
You're with your Town Hall 13.
Yeah, but or 10 and a half. No, actually I actually do pretty good in the wild. I'm in Titan League. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I can always put the stars, and I was actually so here's what happened. The story with that attack, and it was actually a good war because, and I'll talk about the first attack. But that attack, a bunch of people went in. I think there was 2 or 3 attacks on, it was like number 4.
Mm-hmm.
And we were doing kind of cleanup, and my straight across had been clean. I went in on the 1 and I got the 3 barely, like
What
last
did you use again?
second.
Did you use Yetis or did you use Super?
Um,
I can't remember what you used.
prayer and
You're
hope and
to
wishful
what God?
thinking.
Raw.
And so I did bowler, super bowler, and Yeti on that attack. Oh, and would it push me? Oh, which one? I guess I
The
was
one that
using
you
the
three
same
star.
army. I was using the same army, I think.
Oh, okay, okay, yeah.
Now that I think about it. So it was 3 super bowlers, 4 uh healers. Then there was Yetis, like 6 or 7.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess with the 15% one, I switch it up maybe just a little bit, but I put in some super minions. And
Mm.
because I thought, well, I'm taking in these little minions to test for uh a queen walk on the outside towards the end. And I like to have the healers on her. And so I wanted to test for those air bombs. And I was during the super dragon event, I was just using that.
Mm-hmm.
And afterwards, I thought, let me try those super minions. And they were small enough in troop space where I could put a couple at the end, and great for cleanup. So on the 15, or so on the 3-star, it was the super minion with my queen that did it.
Nice.
Like, I mean, things went wrong that one. Things went wrong is I went to, instead of a poison, I teleported. So I went to, it was whatever was on the CC was coming out, and I just grabbed, because I was on my phone, because I said no more iPad. I'm not doing it
Mm-hmm.
for my war attacks. And that happened, pulled it out. Otherwise it would have been a 2-star 99%, but it
Mm.
was, I'm yelling, Maximus is yelling, go, go, go. And of course, as you're attacking on that 3-star, it's like, oh, am I going to get it? And I'm a few seconds ahead of him. And it was down in 2-1. And it was honestly on that last buzzer that it went. I did not know if I was going to get it to that last second. And
And that felt good, didn't it?
it felt awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I
That's
didn't
what
have my
Supercell
king.
wants
I
more
didn't have
of.
my king. I thought I'd do a little bit better if I had my king.
Mm.
And so
Oh, that's right.
with number 4, when I went in, and the night before, I'm thinking, I could 2-star into these bases. I could do it. I used to do it all the time. I'd be right down here, and I just go up and 2-star. Like, you know what? Maybe I'm the 2-star master of the world. Okay. This is what I'm thinking in my head. And I just said that out loud. And that day I was looking at it, I couldn't really get anything across. There was no way, not without my king, because it was just going into the next level, and I'd have to hope for a 3. But a couple people went in on it, and there were still some attacks up high, and I thought, well, I think I can go in and do it. I do think it would went a little bit better than I had, because I misplaced
You
my
got the town hall
overgrowth.
down.
Yeah, I got the 1, but if I would have, the overgrowth was supposed to go up and cover the 2 spell towers there, and I missed
Mm-hmm.
it, and it
Yeah.
threw everything off. And so I threw just enough firepower at it, because I just wanted to get to the town hall, and then I wanted to go overgrowth and clean the outsides and just get
Yep.
the 50%. Turns out the CC came out, and I had asked for an Electro Dragon in my CC compliment, I thought, because it was right there. The town hall's at the very top of the diamond, and not well protected, because there wasn't Teslas there. So I start throwing stuff at it, and I'm like, well, my Electro Drag's right there. He's gonna get it. He's almost dead, but he's gonna get it, I think. And I'm like, well, why isn't he just moving around? Well, that was the enemy CCs. So
Yeah, that is dread. You dragged the
Yeah.
game out of their CC.
Yeah. So
Oh, it's so funny.
this is probably 20 seconds into the attack, and you can imagine. And so I just go, well, I guess I'm just going to have to go all over. And then every spell just drops. The bowlers went this way. I'm like, just go with it. Just go with it. But when I walked out of that attack, it was the quietest. I was just glad there wasn't really anybody online. It was just so, except for Maxwell. And I'm like, that was embarrassing.
You're, we all have those
Oh,
moments, so don't feel
that
bad at all.
that was one of the top 5. I'm thinking,
Yeah, but you
just
got to
in
get ready
terms of,
for you got to get ready for CWL that's coming up,
I am pumped for CWL.
and because you're probably going to have to attack some more Town Hall 16s because we dropped last month to Masters 3, so we're going to have less Town Hall 16s this go round, but it's probably going to be half Town Hall 16s, maybe a quarter Town Hall 15s, and a quarter Town Hall 14s. So it's still going to be tough.
I can honestly say I am in a much better place than I was last month for it.
Mm-hmm.
And what's kind of fun about it, because last month, heroes were down for a week, and then we
Mm-hmm.
came off of it, and I've been saying, I'm going to get ready. That's going to be my next thing. And so I've been kind of planning it out. We decided on the town hall. I'm going to be upgrading to town hall 14 coming up, but I have been on. Now I'm switching because now I'm in end game. Now we
Mm-hmm.
got like less than a week. So I'm going to change all my upgrades over, and I'm just doing traps, the air bombs in particular, because
Yeah.
everyone that gets done, I've noticed my defense percentage
Go up. Yeah. Go up
go
just a little bit
down.
or go down. Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, just a little bit. And so
It
I'm,
makes a difference.
yeah, and there's a moment, I think there was a moment where I said, okay, I do have to take a break for one day. But I'm like, nope, just stay on it, even when I didn't want to. But I pumped my air defenses up, and I knew CWL's coming up. So I just like yesterday, I think, or 2 days ago, put 2 builders on air defenses, and they've all went up a level because I just get hit with air all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And even if I can just defend a little bit longer. So the traps do make a difference, and I'm really going to keep going on those little ones afterwards. But I got my scatter shots done after
Mm-hmm.
last episode, both of them up. I
You
have
put
got,
what, 5 or 6 levels on your queen? Although it won't matter
no,
because she'll be
since
max
last
anyway.
time. Yeah, she's at 73 now, so she's going fast, and she was just book of spells. Like, I haven't really put her down with, or not book of
Book of
spells,
Heroes.
book of heroes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'm going to switch that over to the warden or start going every other.
Yep. Yep. So
Because,
what I'm recommending, and I have to make a video on this, is get your heroes to, I mean, so you still have a little ways to go. But what I'm going to do on my strategic rush base is get my heroes to Town Hall 14 max, and then I'm stopping.
what is
I mean,
that?
I'm
85?
85. So 85 on your king and your queen, 55 on your warden, and 30 on the RC. Once each of my heroes are at that level, I'm just going to coast from then on out. My heroes will never be down again after that point, and I will only upgrade whenever I have a book of heroes,
That's
or if
it's
I'm
funny
about
you
to
said that.
waste dark elixir. But that shouldn't be the case with the pets because I could just keep throwing dark elixir into pets over and over and over again, and I shouldn't have a problem with that.
Do you have to activate them?
I mean, you have to upgrade your pet house, and with every new pet house, there's 4 levels at Town Hall 14. With each new level, a new pet is introduced. So I guess that kind of
Oh,
activates them.
okay. Okay. I didn't know like how that works because I'm really not at that. I'm, I get to
Yeah, but
experience the
my
pet soon.
RC and my warden are almost there. I think my warden's at like 52. My RC is like at 28. Or yeah, 28. My king and my queen have a little longer to go. I think my queen is like at 54 or 55, and my king's like at 52 or 53. So I still have a little ways to go. But once my RC reaches 30, once my warden reaches 55, I'm not going to touch them
Until, hmm,
unless I have a book of heroes, or for example, I might still upgrade my warden since he uses pink elixir. If, for example, my king and my queen are already down,
And then
well,
you,
I'm not going to be 3-starring Town Hall 14s anyway without my king and my queen. I might as well just break my other leg and have
yeah.
my warden down at the same time too. But that's the only time that I'll have my warden down in that instance.
So that was one of my questions this week that I wrote down was, what hero can't you live without?
Mm, I mean, they're all essential,
If
but
you
if
have
I
to put
had to
one
rank
down,
them,
you got to go into a war. Which is the one that you have to have one down? Which
if I had to have one down, I would put down the RC. Like to
okay, that one
me,
doesn't count.
then
Just kidding.
next, if I had to have one down, it would be the king, and then next would be the queen, and then the warden. Like it's really hard to 3-star without the warden. Like it's really hard.
It's hard to
But I
get out
mean,
of bed in the morning without the
you're
warden.
but the queen is up there too. Like the queen is super powerful as well. Just kind of depends on the attack you're doing. But man, the warden is really important, especially if you're going to tome like a blimp into the town hall or like
Yeah.
just the warden's aura whenever I'm doing Lalo attacks. Like that aura adds so much to my balloons that it's really hard. The warden affects more. Like the queen shoots one defense at a time. Well, the warden can affect, 200 troop space at one time, potentially. I mean, if I had, I'm not going to have this
Oh
happen,
yeah,
but if I
that's
had
true.
40 balloons under the warden's aura at one time and those balloons are destroying defenses left and right, well, all of those balloons are affected by the warden's aura. Their health goes up. And then all of those balloons are invincible for, 9.5 seconds under the warden's aura if I have a max eternal tome. So I would have to say the warden is probably my number one hero, I would say. Do you agree?
Well, that's if you would have asked me last week, I would have said the queen, no doubt. And then we had the talk
Make it
about the
sound like I'm the
warden.
principal or something. Sit
Sat
down.
me
You were
down
a bad
and
boy.
you had the warden talk with me. Um, and now I'm really seeing him in a different light. And even just because after that episode, right, I was thinking like, hey, I don't know a lot anymore. Or even the things that I think I know now are in question.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like with the warden, I understood the warden when it came out. For the most part, he put it here and this is what's going on. And he had a good sense of it. But there have been a lot of changes, nerfs, upgrade,
Mm-hmm.
AI changes to things that I really thought after our conversation on the warden that I almost need to do that, or we should do that with all of the major troops. Um,
Right.
because, for example, the big question I had is the healer AI.
Mm-hmm.
Because wait a second, they're switching between them. Why are they switching between them?
Yep.
When are they
Yep.
switching between them? And after the warden talk, it was, oh, okay, I can see that and do this. And then I was watching your videos, and Chewy was telling me this, but I didn't use the warden in the old days before when I got my time machine, we were uh not warden walking. So
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of a new thing to me.
It's
Uh
hard to do it like Town Hall 11 just because the warden's not powerful enough. So that's probably the reason.
well, he's at level 33 for me. And but
But like at Town Hall 11 back in the OG days, he was only level 20
oh yeah.
max.
Yeah. And so coming in now, oh, I didn't think about it that way. And so now seeing that, like, it didn't occur to me. And I think that it's probably that way with a lot of things. And particularly like the healers, I thought maybe I didn't even understand the healers that much in the first place, but they were pretty straightforward. I used to
Well,
think.
So what's interesting about the healer, and the healer has some interesting AI. So you probably are especially seeing this with your warden walks, for example. So the healer AI, number one, healers do splash, not splash damage, splash healing. So if you have a group of troops in a certain cluster and certain radius, then the healers will heal all of those troops within that certain radius. But also, healers will not leave whatever troop or hero that they're healing until that specific troop is fully healed. Now, the moment that that troop is full, or that hero is fully healed, well, then the healer will look for other troops or other heroes that are
Oh,
within a certain aura, within a certain radius, that need its healing power. Now, this can be a problem in two ways. So,
yep.
way number one is, for instance, I've been a noob and I made this mistake in the past. I have not made it recently. That doesn't mean that I won't make this mistake, because I'm, make a stupid mistake. But for instance, if you're wanting to do a queen walk,
I'll do it for you.
and let's say that you're using your king to funnel, so you put down your queen, you throw your healers down on your queen, and then you put your king down to go off to the right of the base to funnel. And if your queen is not under damage and you put your king close enough to your queen, well, the queen is already healed up. The healers are now looking for a new target to heal. And if your king starts taking damage, the healers
Yep.
will leave the queen and
Cheat.
go over to the king, because it's their AI. Like they have to heal. Like that's part of themselves. Like
All
they
done
have to
here.
heal something.
Medic!
Exactly. So
Medic!
when the queen doesn't need their healing power, well, they're going to look for another target, and the king is close by. Oh, let's go over here. So that also applies to the warden. So when you're doing your warden walk, for example, let's say that an expo locks onto your warden and it's just pounding away at your warden to the point maybe to where your warden is not quite healing all the way up. Well, the power of a super bowler attack is when those healers switch from your warden and go onto your super bowlers, because you want those healers on your super bowlers. You don't want it stuck on your warden. So, but the problem is your warden's not healing all the way up. So as long as your warden is not 100% healed, the healers will not look for those super bowlers. So that means that your super bowlers are now being targeted by scatter shots, by archer
Oh.
towers, by cannons, and they're getting mowed down because the healers are stuck on your warden. So the key to doing something like that is to freeze the expo that's locked onto your warden, let the healers heal the warden back up. The warden drops back to the quarterback position to where he's behind all of the troops. And then the healers will now go seek the super bowlers, which are in front of the warden. That was something that I didn't realize
Oh.
until I was attacking a little bit. And I was like, why aren't the healers attaching themselves to my super bowlers are so low on health? Why aren't they going there? And they weren't going down because they were on the grand warden, and the warden was constantly under damage and he was not being 100% healed. So therefore the healers will never leave the warden until he reaches that 100% heal point.
If this game has taught me anything, it's taught me that I need glasses. when it, that is freaking awesome advice.
So that's also one reason why rages are amazing with a super bowler attack, because that rage will allow the healers because, and one thing I said in the video was, your rage is not for your troops. Your rage is for the healers. 100%.
Yeah. Yep.
Now the troops can benefit from it,
I do that. I get
but
that.
you want the healers, and granted, you want to place the rage down in the grass, but you
Right.
want to place the rage down in a place where the healers can take advantage of it quickly, so that they can get that warden healed up and then bam, move on to the super bowlers, and then keep the super bowlers topped off. The super bowlers have enough HP to where they can take a few hits and be
I know
okay.
that's been my.
But once they start getting hit multiple times, they're going to die super quick. So you got to get those healers onto the super bowlers. And the best way to do that is with a rage. Bam, heal up the warden or heal up the queen, and then move on to your troops. And that's very
Well,
quickly with the rage.
and I think and so with the with my glasses, I'd be able to actually see what's going on. However, I also would be able to see better what's going on if I was a little bit more strategic in my drop.
You'll get there. You'll get
Because
there.
yeah, I mean, I guess I'm a
Man,
well,
I'm
let's just
still
say it takes
learning.
me like 30 seconds to get through a war attack. No, not really, but well, here's the thing. So I'm like looking at that front end and how long and the pacing of it and the hero drops is something that I haven't paid attention to because I have been, yesterday it was 2016
Yeah.
when I got in my time machine. And so there's just so much with those AI
Yeah.
and how you're talking about putting the RC on the back end. And so when I'm thinking and when I'm watching these videos, I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, okay, I'm used to the whole attack unfolding in this manner, from A to
Mm-hmm.
Z. And you're kind of cutting it into a few different parts that are all going on at the same time. But if I was
Yep.
doing that better, I would also have less things to worry about all at once.
Well,
Maybe. I mean, compared to complete and utter chaos and just me throwing things at things.
but that's also why spam attacks are what a lot of players use, and players can get really good at spam attacks. So take that Root Rider video that I made today that I put out. That's a spam attack. So basically, you put one or two Root Riders down on one corner, one or two Root Riders down the other corner, follow them up with a couple of Valks,
Open a can of whoop ass.
puke everything else out in the middle. And then literally at that point, the only thing you have to focus on is when to put down your overgrowth spell and freezing some of those key defenses. And that's all you have to do. And then you have to kind of determine when to put your RC in. But it's a lot more simple. And a lot of players that they're happy with that. And they're very good at spam attacks and they get really good at it and they can recognize, okay, this space is really good for a spam attack because of how it's set up. So I'm just going to spam my troops in. A lot of players did that with Hydra, which is dragons and dragon riders at Town Hall
Ooh.
14, and they funneled out, one corner with their heroes, spammed in their dragons and dragon riders and loons, and then just froze here and there and put a rage down here and there as necessary. And it was decently easy to 3-star doing that as long as you were good at recognizing where to place your spells down. So it's not a bad thing to not do multi-pronged attacks. Just get really good at doing spammier attacks. And I've seen some
Yeah, but that's the
amazing
part that's
players.
not working for me.
Yeah. But you'll get there. Like
Yeah.
it's a lot less complex
Yeah.
and you can get really good at it.
And and I think I don't know, the type of uh player where my game will evolve to, but even just breaking down the attacks. I mean, I think even with this with more spammy, for example, I noticed that you basically didn't start your full attack until like a minute and 30 some seconds left.
Yep. So I would typically start the Super
And I'm
Bowlers
on my
at
way
2
home
minutes. At
normally.
2 minutes. So a full minute. Like you have to start Super Bowlers by 2 minutes. Otherwise, they may not finish the attack. So I would let my Warden and my Flame Flinger go for a full minute before really starting the attack.
And that is, I think, even just changing that. Because I'm dropping it and going, okay, I got to get everything in there. Go,
Mm-hmm.
run, run. Let's make it
Yeah.
quick. Uh, so I think even just changing that will help. Uh, and I've been practicing a lot with those combinations.
They're really
Um,
powerful at Town Hall 14. So, I mean, it's a good attack to do
so what
if you can
about
learn how to do it.
so with that overgrowth spell and then the root rider, if you're a player out there and you're town hall 9, 10, 11, 12, what type of troops can you use to do something similar?
When is the overgrowth spell available? I don't even know what town hall level it's available at.
No, I guess, yeah, I don't know. I think
I
it
we
was, I don't have it on hand.
Is it 11
I
that's
thought
available
it
at?
was, I think it was 11 or 12. Yeah.
So, but it just from granted, I'm not a pro, I'm far from a pro, but the way that we've seen it used so far, I mean, there have been some really fancy attacks where you can freeze, the splash defenses and then go around the base with bats. Like those have been some amazing attacks. But the general use, from what I have seen, has been uh, spammier attacks or smash attacks, even dragons, though, where
Mm,
you're
yeah, I
using
suppose that would
the,
work.
the overgrowth spell to funnel. So a lot of attacks, the way that you use them is you clear out a certain part of the base and then you put your dragons or your smash in the other part of the base and then kind of let them go in a semicircle or in an L pattern. And that can be complex to do with funneling troops and your heroes and all that. Well, with the overgrowth spell, you just take all of that out. You can
Go around.
automatically funnel, just
Nothing to see
bam, you
here.
funneled. And then there you go. Release your dragons, let them work their way around. You just have to have a plan for when the overgrowth spell finishes, or have a second overgrowth spell when that first overgrowth spell goes down. That's
Yeah.
how I've seen it used.
Move, bitch, get out of the way type thing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I love it. I thought of that song that came out. Moo, bitch,
Yeah,
get
that's
out of the way.
exactly,
Get
that's
out of the
exact,
way, bitch.
that's
Get
what
out of
was
the way.
that was playing in my mind, the dragon going like blaring that as the spell drops, and I just came out of my mouth.
Yeah, it's so funny. cut, cut.
Well, so I think if it's well, I and I use like two overgrowth
Hmm.
um on those back corners, but seeing that, like that attack, it didn't occur to me just to do the town hall as well.
Yeah.
I was doing the stuff on the side, like doing the funnel,
Hmm.
right in through there. But I'm kind of having to play around a little bit with those spells because I'm not sure if the the log launcher is gonna cut it in the end. I bet.
Yeah. And something else to remember with the log launcher or the wall wrecker is if you overgrowth a section, the logs that come out of the log launcher will not destroy anything that's been overgrowth. And if your log launcher runs into an overgrowth building, it'll just sit there. So it won't do anything. Like it won't do anything for you. So you can't overgrowth the area in front of a log launcher because it doesn't do anything.
Huh. Well, that explains a few things.
Yeah. It just makes them, it takes them off the
Did,
map. It's as if
did,
they're puts a wall up. Like they're
did,
not even there.
then you must have missed my God, I'm an idiot.
No, you're not. You are not an idiot.
Come join the house Val. I'll post some good replays for you. Oh, and everybody's so nice, they don't say anything. I'm like,
We all got to learn
I
sometime.
don't know what
It's
day
all
it
good.
was. Was it this week? Was it after our last episode? Oh my God. So I'm sitting there, I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna run these attacks, and I think I'd been talking about running that attack. I'm gonna do those armies and just do it all day. Now I've kind of switched to just doing all the time.
Hmm. Which is
Well,
the best way to practice.
and that is what I was doing that day, and I'm doing it, and I'm looking at these bases, and I go, okay, I have an idea. I might be the first. I'm I'm gonna coin this.
Is this like your invisibility spell idea?
Well, apparently it is.
Yeah.
Apparently it might be worse. And so I'm going, I got this. You know what? I'm taking those bowlers. I'm taking Yetis. I'm taking bowlers. I don't know why people aren't thinking about this. I got a line of defenses here all the way to the town hall. I'm going to overgrowth all the way to there and let this launcher just go right through it. Now, the trade-off is time, right?
Right.
I'm thinking to myself, it's going to take a while. And every time I did that, yes, you heard me right. Every time I did that.
So it's more than once.
More than once. I think I did it in the war attack, actually.
Oh, I'm not laughing at you, Scotty. I'm laughing with you. Because I love you.
And oh no.
It's okay. We learn. We live and we learn.
Needless to say, it didn't go that well. I thought, wow, that log launcher.
That's a piece of crap, that log launcher is. What the crap?
I don't think this strategy is going to work.
Not destroying anything.
Well, I thought it just was taking way longer than I thought to get there. And it must have just kicked back up every time the thing went off because it didn't quite get to the town hall. And I thought, well, I just can't trade off any more overgrowths to get it there because I'm going to need more time. Oh, it's been an embarrassing week. It's
no,
a Classic
no, it's all good. At least you learned it before CWL, right? Because that's where it counts.
Okay.
You're
I just don't even know. But the thing is, I didn't. It wasn't until right now that I discovered it.
Scotty.
So my thing is, how many more things are out there that I'm doing?
Scotty.
Yes.
Don't put your healers on your log launcher because it won't work.
I did think about doing that. Okay, so that's not going to work. Well, there's one strategy down. And this is why I should just be. Yeah, I think with every attack and every combination that I'm going to invent it, right? Like, I think this is it. I've discovered the goal that nobody else has. And not so much as it turns out.
Okay. It's okay. We all make mistakes.
It's tough.
All good. All good.
Oh my God. Like, I just couldn't help but think too. It's a lot like the time that I went out in public shopping for the afternoon and I had peanut butter on my face. Nobody told me.
Nobody told you?
No, a big chunk of peanut butter on the side of my face and nobody told me.
You know what? I
didn't mind. Afterwards, shame.
I've tried to learn about, like, I have learned that people are 100% into themselves. So, for example, if you're talking to somebody,
I think it was a mole.
Yeah. I forget what book I was reading. I can't remember who it was. It may have been Seth Godin or some, I can't remember. But they were saying that letting people talk and then just letting them, talk about themselves, talk about their lives, talk about choices that they're making. And then at the end of the night, they'll be like, holy cow, like that's one of the best conversations that I've ever had. Because the majority of people, like, they don't pay attention to other people that much. So I highly doubt that
they probably were paying attention to me going, why is he making me so hungry?
They probably felt sorry for you, like this homeless guy.
Yeah, peanut butter on his face, just walking around Home Depot. Stop by Kohl's. Oh my God.
Well, that proves that you don't have to be a pro to be in House of L. Everybody is welcome at House of L.
Yeah.
No matter how good, or if you got peanut butter in your face.
Peanut butter face.
We don't care. Peanut butter face faces are allowed.
Overgrowthing
if you got overgrowth on your face.
Overgrowth.
You got a little overgrowth in your nose there, buddy. Might want to get that out.
Oh man. Well, maybe we should just wrap it up here then. I guess. I did get through everything. There was just one other little thing that I think I'm just going to make another prediction. I think Supercell will make will add on a constant earthquake to the earthquake boot.
Oh, so doing constant damage,
Like the
like a
healer
low
thing,
minor damage, just
like
constant minor damage.
how that the healing one works, the vamp stash.
Oh, yeah.
Even if it was just a little area. I mean, imagine that. You've got your king walking through there with, even after like, so let's say it hits 4 times and then it takes 25% off the nearby buildings, right? Just
Right.
from the time. So every time it swings down, he hits just a little bit of an earthquake.
Mm,
That's my
I can,
prediction.
yeah, I can see that. And also because the earthquake spell that's produced whenever the earthquake boots are used doesn't get full damage because whenever you put an earthquake spell down on a base, like you're damaging this diameter, this circle of area. Well, when you're using the earthquake boots, the king will have already destroyed a bunch of buildings behind him, and so the earthquake will only destroy
Oh,
or
good
damage the
point.
buildings that are in front of him. So essentially, you're only getting half a spell. Like the back half
Oh,
is cut off
good
because there's
point.
no buildings back there to damage. So that may be a way, like you can do the power, like you can do where you press the earthquake boots and you still get, the four earthquakes
Yeah.
or 50% damage, but also there's this
Bon-
ongoing
bonus.
underlying 2% constant damage or 1% constant damage
The
to
walls would
all
be taken
buildings
care
within
of
a
a little bit.
radius. Yeah, I could see that
Yeah.
definitely.
I think if it's one of those that isn't getting used that much, I think that would be the way to boost it. Again, Supercell, you can just pause it right here and rewind it. And we're here if you need some more ideas
And I don't think,
for
now I'm thinking about it, of all the pieces of equipment, I guess no, I mean, even the giant arrow, like I have seen players use the giant arrow. I've seen pros attack with the giant arrow in amazing ways. I haven't seen anything with the earthquake boots. Like that's the one piece of equipment
yeah.
that I don't really think anybody's really using, which is
Yeah.
interesting.
And I was just looking through my equipment and thinking about my strategy. And I know we're going to talk about that next time. And as I was looking through it, you haven't talked about it really on the podcast. We've talked about it, but of our conversations, that is the one that comes up the
Hmm.
absolute least. And so I think in order for them to boost it, because they look at those stats that say, hey, this is the amount that it's equipped, yada, 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 and the amount that it's upgraded, bought, yada, yada.
Hmm.
And that would be the easiest because it's exactly what the healer does. So you just, instead of the healing, whatever that thing is, what is it? The one where he hits and it's,
The vamp stash.
Bam Stash.
Hmm.
Um,
Or the giant gauntlet does that too. Like it has 38 healing per second, a little bit different. So the vamp stash heals per hit. So every time the king hits at max, it does 300 healing on the king. When the vamp stash just does an automatic 38 healing per second. It's not as much, not near as much as the vamp stash, but
oh,
still just a little bit of constant. This constant healing effect, 38 healing per, just a little bit of healing with the giant gauntlet.
so you get that big arrow, boom, fires across the base to start or wherever it is. Then the king goes in behind with his earthquake boots. Just
Mm-hmm.
so you got a bunch of damage from that arrow. Then the king walks in, just crunching, earthquake, just shaking the king shake, right?
Mm-hmm. King shake.
You can hear that
Yep.
motherfucker just taking it down,
Yep.
right? And then I'm a fan.
Mm-hmm.
Sign me
I
up.
think it would definitely affect things to where players might actually use it.
Well,
I'll have to wait and see.
Supercell, you can get back to us and let us know how this is coming along. We'll check in with the progress, give it to the team, pass it on. Uh, well, shout outs this week.
I would like to shout out Caesar. Caesar's been commenting on my YouTube videos regularly. I don't even know if he listens to the podcast or not. I know he
What's
watches
up,
my YouTube
Caesar?
videos, but he's been there for a long time, and I'm always very thankful for positive comments on my YouTube videos. And so I just wanted to shout him out and say thank you.
Yeah, shout out. Big shout out to House L,
all the guys and gals
Chewy,
in there.
all the guys and gals. Chewy doing some heavy lifting. You're doing some heavy lifting. D-Max is doing some heavy lifting. I'm really kind of glad they don't have any minis.
We maxed out clan games in like a day.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
I got really nervous because I'm still working on mine because I keep forgetting to start the next one.
Well, I was going to bring over some of my minis, but then D-Max had them all finished. Between D-Max and Chewy,
yeah,
like they went
doing
to town.
Some work.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's awesome.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to getting started with. I'll do traps this week, and then looking forward to getting started with CWO with everybody. So if you're interested in joining House of L, come on over. CWL starts this week. You can come over for the war, come over to stay, whatever you want to do. So looking forward to kicking off another one with a little bit better base.
Yep, it'll be exciting.
And then Warren, and then being able to farm and everything all week without heroes down.
Yeah.
Because I make myself keep them up.
Yep, for CWL.
Yeah. So shout out to everybody. And I should say, get a hold of us at Clash of Clans Podcast at gmail.com or find us at clashclanspodcast.com.
Keep it clashy.
Keep it clashy.
Skilly beep 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 skilly beep.